This year, millions of Americans will vacation in Florida, Mexico, or the Caribbean, and a lot of people will treat themselves to a thrilling parasail ride. But before you or your kids try parasailing, watch this. Matt Mahar went to great heights and some risk to find out just how dangerous it can be.
I can't swim. Does that matter? Doesn't matter if I can't swim?
I actually can swim, but this man doesn't know that, nor does he appear to care. He just collected $50 to send me up in one of these things, a parasail. It looks like a relaxing way to see the sights. Just you and the parasail, hundreds of feet in the air, tied to a boat far below. But this is not supposed to happen. In 1997, when a tow rope suddenly snaps, a father and his teenage daughter are dumped into Tampa Bay. They were just moments away from being smashed into this bridge.
If we had gotten tangled up in that bridge, I'm sure we would have been dead.
In October of 1999, Mike Knobloch, Darren Villa, and a friend decided to try parasailing off Clearwater Beach, Florida. A decision that almost cost them their lives.
When we got up there, the wind was just howling, and right away we kind of were a little hesitant, like we wanted to get down.
As the wind intensified, the men started yelling to the boat operator below. But they say at 1,200 feet, no one could hear them. But watch closely to what happens next. The rope snaps.
You heard like this snapping noise, and we all just got pulled backwards, and our legs all went forward, and then it just went from really windy to silent, because now we were going with the wind.
With the wind, right towards a 21-story condominium on shore.
We were like gliding sideways, and we saw this building coming up, and we were like, we're gonna hit this building. We're gonna hit this building.
The men braced for impact, but at the last second, they caught a gust of wind and cleared the building by a scant 15 feet. Miraculously, they landed in the bay on the other side of the condominiums, almost a mile from the boat of the parasail operators.
We put our faith in the guys, and we figured they knew what they were doing.
It's not regulated anywhere in the world, and that's one of the problems.
Mark McCullough should know. He invented most of the equipment used today by parasailing companies, but he's also the industry's most vocal critic.
Anybody can go buy a boat, anybody can get in business and be on their way in a couple of weeks, and that's a tragedy.
A tragedy no one knows better than Lanita Walker.
I go to the cemetery every week, and I sit there and I look at her picture on the grave, and it still doesn't seem real.
Lanita Walker's daughter Tasha went on a cruise to the Bahamas with a group of friends in August of 1999.
Tasha and her friends came ashore here on Paradise Island in the Bahamas for a day of sun and surf. When the group decided to try parasailing, Tasha was excited, yet a little nervous. She'd never done it before.
Witnesses say the wind was blowing hard, and it looked like a storm was brewing as Tasha and a friend were strapped into the parasail.
The guy with her told me he felt something hit his face, and he looked down, and it was the rope. And at that time, they told me Tasha got hysterical, saying, "We're gonna die, we're gonna die."
Tasha and her friend were 70 feet in the air when the rope snapped. The pair plummeted toward the water.
The wind was fighting against them, and the wind would pull up under the parasail and drag them further and further across the water.
The waves were too much for Tasha. Her friend survived. Tasha drowned. Her mother says the parasail operator should have known that the winds were too strong to keep taking people up.
Another run or two for $40 or $80 wasn't worth my daughter's life.
Mark McCullough says no one keeps track of the deaths associated with parasailing, but he says there are hundreds of accidents every year.
In the States alone, 30 to 40 accidents a year.
Wherever we took our cameras, we found problems. In Florida, we saw some operators who didn't know how to handle the parasails, and others who paid little attention to the customers they were towing. But nowhere is the problem more serious than here in Cancun, Mexico, where millions of Americans vacation every year. The problem is so bad that the State Department now warns tourists that people have been, quote, dragged through palm trees or slammed into hotel walls while parasailing. We wanted to see for ourselves.
What am I signing here?
Sign for your life away.
Signing my life away?
Yeah.
I hope you're kidding.
That's a waiver I signed. It was in Spanish, and these were my directions.
Let up.
Okay, how will I hear? This will be a whistle?
Here on the beach.
And a whistle? You're going to
See,
be on a whistle?
one, beep.
Okay.
Reach higher and then let's right
Okay.
size and keep her.
Okay. Well,
Poncino 2. Beep,
Yeah.
beep. Let
okay.
it go.
Now, what if my hearing's not too good?
I wave it, my wife fly.
Okay.
With that, I was off.
Now what? Okay, do I walk?
Yeah. Sit down a little bit. Sit down.
Okay.
Sit down.
Oh, cool. I don't know how smart this is. To what? Remember what? I don't know about this. This is sketchy.
Another parasail came dangerously close.
We shouldn't be this close together.
And when it was time to land,
Let go. Where's...
I could neither hear nor understand what anyone below was saying.
I felt like a kite up there with all those... Is that safe with all those people floating around? What would have happened had we crossed lines?
You would have died. There's no doubt about it. You would have run at each other, collapsed both parachutes, and gone straight to the ocean.
Yet we continued to see other parasailers passing far too close to each other and far too close to nearby buildings. But this was the most risky thing we saw, both in Florida and Cancun. We were consistently flown at heights of 800 to 1,200 feet. The boat is simply a dot on the water.
I'm up here at 600 feet, considered a safe altitude for parasailing. Why? Because if I were any higher and had a problem, the crew couldn't see or hear me.
This tourist is flown so high that when she's ready to come down, she can't hear the commands being given. Finally, she maneuvers the parasail to land.
There's Matt Mahar with the TV show Inside Edition.
Yeah.
Were you having trouble getting her down?
No.
She looked pretty scared to me, and she had a very rough landing. No?
No. But, it's a risky sport,
Isn't the wind too high right now?
Yeah, it's too windy now.
You shouldn't even be doing it now, should you? Huh?
Need money.
You need money?
Yeah.
You could cause somebody's life.
There's no standards. Everybody operates the way they want to operate.
So it really is buyer beware.
Absolutely.
And that's something Lenita Walker hopes to see changed.
There should have been rules and regulations about the safety issues and the risks involved. I lost Tasha the other half of my life.
Now, if you still want to try this, make sure you go up with a well-established insured company. Don't be afraid to ask how long they've been in business or if they've ever had an accident. And the experts say don't go up if it's windy or looks like rain. Want to know more? Log on to our website at InsideEdition.com.